Your liver is one of the most important organs inside of your body. When your liver is not functioning well, you're not going to detoxify, you're not going to burn fat, you're going to feel sluggish, you're going to have digestive issues like diarrhea, and overall it's going to lead to disease and metabolic dysfunction. The liver is so important to your body that I've nicknamed it the soccer mom organ. Just like a soccer mom does so many important jobs for her family, your liver does the same for your human body. And in this lesson, I'm going to reveal to you the 5 warning signs of liver damage. Spot this early on, otherwise you might be in big trouble down the line. Now, before I get into the first warning sign, I want you to know how miraculous your liver is. It's one of the few organs that could almost entirely regenerate itself. Research shows that you could lose up to 90% of your liver function or even your actual liver mass and it'll grow back. Just like a lizard that gets its tail chopped off and the tail grows back, your liver does the same thing in your body. Really incredible. Liver cells renew and regenerate entirely every 150 to 500 days. So as we go through these 5 warning signs and you're like, that's me, I have this, I have that. Don't fear, don't worry. We'll talk about a protocol and what you can do about it later. But first, let's talk about those 5 warning signs. I hope you have a pen and paper, take a lot of notes. This is gonna be eye-opening. The first warning sign is that anytime you eat a meal that has fat in it, you get diarrhea or loose stools. You just can't seem to process fats. That is because your liver produces a detergent, we'll call it a detergent, called bile. These bile acids are green and it breaks down fatty acids for fuel. This is important for metabolic function, fat loss, and overall health because these fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, are essential for cellular metabolism. The bile breaks down the fat and the fatty acids and the vitamins from the food, and then it's sent to your cells to be used for energy. This helps you burn fat, helps with energy production, helps with detoxification. But if you have thick, sluggish bile, that bile is not breaking down the fat properly. It results in loose stools, fatty stools, diarrhea. That's a sign that you're not breaking down these fatty acids. You're not getting all the benefits from these healthy fats we need to thrive. Many people think it is their gallbladder that produces bile and breaks down fat. There's a misconception there. Now, the gallbladder is important. It's a storage house for the bile, but the liver produces the bile. So when you eat a meal, that gallbladder is squeezed. There's a hormone called cholecystokinin that's at play here, and then it's dripped out to break down the fat. You might be watching this or listening to this thinking, but Ben, I don't even have a gallbladder. It was removed. Well, you still have your liver, and your liver produces bile. So I would say this video is even more important for those without a gallbladder. Your liver wants to produce healthy bile. It wants to break down the fat. It wants to help you detoxify. It recycles bile overnight as well. And most people, unfortunately, are not producing healthy bile. From medications to drugs to alcohol, processed carbohydrates, we end up with this thick, fatty liver producing thick bile, not being able to break down fat, leading to issues with fat metabolism. So what is the solution? Quick thing here, before we get into a full protocol later, is to consume bitters. Bitters for the liver. I teach this to students all across the world. I've written about it in books. Eat your bitters to support your liver. Ben, what are bitters? Those are going to be foods that have a bitter taste. Now, if you're a coffee drinker, great news for you. Coffee is a bitter. It stimulates bile production, helps the liver. Just make sure it is organic coffee that does not have any contaminants like mold and pesticides. So you do not want to get coffee from Starbucks and Dunkin' Donut. You want it from a quality brand. I use Purity Coffee. You can get the one I use over at 𝙎𝙬𝑐offee.com and use 𝙎𝙬𝘽 at checkout for 15% off. I'll drop a link for it down below. Other bitters include arugula, ginger, ginger tea, milk thistle tea. Then we have herbs and spices like rosemary, thyme, basil. Lemons and limes are terrific for the liver as well. Apple cider vinegar. So those are a few. Artichokes are also great. Incorporate those. It's going to help you produce thin bile to break down fat, and hopefully that'll help with your diarrhea and loose stools. Now, some people, especially those without a gallbladder, need to go a step farther and incorporate ox bile supplementation. I use the one from Systemic Formulas called D-Digest. 2 capsules before a fatty meal should do the trick. You can get that over at 𝙎𝙬𝘽𝙎supplements.com. Another tip here is to start to gradually increase your fats with the bitters and even the supplementation so your body adapts to the changes here. That should resolve this issue. And the second warning sign to pay attention to is going to be foot problems. Some signs and things to pay attention to right in your feet. Let's discuss it. The first one is edema and swelling. The swelling in the feet and ankles, known as peripheral edema, is often more noticeable at the end of the day and may improve after elevating your legs. This swelling can be due to a fluid buildup in your lower extremities caused by decreased liver function in clearing fluids and proteins from the body. In severe cases, the skin over the swollen areas may appear stretched, shiny, or pitted when pressure is applied. Now, just a side note with edema, I've seen some short-term relief with these patches that I use. I have them all over my body right now called LifeWave X39 and X49 patches. Like, I'll give you an example of this testimonial here. She put on the patches and you can see a huge difference in what it did from her foot on the right and then her after on the left there. And you could get these patches over at ketocamp.com/lifewave. I'll put a link down below. The next thing is itching in the foot. Excessive itching in the foot is associated with liver disease and can be intense and persistent, leading to scratching that may cause skin damage and infections. The itching is often worse at night and can affect not just the feet, but also other parts of the body, including the hands, arms, legs, and the trunk. Itching is commonly linked to elevated levels of bile salts in the bloodstream, which can accumulate in the skin due to impaired liver function. The next thing to pay attention to with your feet are spider angiomas. These are small, red spider-like blood vessels that can develop on the skin, including the feet. They have a central red spot in the radiating branches. Spider angiomas are caused by increased blood flow in the skin due to changes in blood vessel structure related to liver dysfunction. They are often seen in individuals with advanced liver disease such as cirrhosis and can be an indicator of portal hypertension, which is high blood pressure in the liver's portal vein system. Then we see changes in your nail and skin color of your feet and toes. White nails, or what's called Terry's nails, which have a dark band at the tip, can occur in liver diseases due to changes in blood circulation or reduced production of red blood cells. Jaundice, a yellowing of the skin and eyes, can extend to the feet and affect the color of nail beds and skin, giving them a yellowish hue. These changes in nail and skin color are more pronounced in advanced liver disease stages and may indicate significant liver impairment. Then we have neuropathy of the feet. Peripheral neuropathy associated with liver disease can cause sensations like numbness, tingling, or even burning in the feet and legs. This neuropathy can be due to various factors, including vitamin deficiencies such as B3, for example, toxic effects of substances accumulating in the body, or even direct nerve damage from liver dysfunction. Neuropathy can affect balance and coordination, leading to difficulties in walking and increased risk of falls, especially in advanced liver disease cases. So pay attention to your feet. If you have any of those red flags, signs are pointing towards liver dysfunction. The third sign to pay attention to is going to be, and we kind of just spoke about this, yellow skin and eyes. This is called jaundice. It's probably one of the most recognizable signs of liver dysfunction or liver failure. It occurs when the liver is unable to effectively process bilirubin, a yellow compound that forms during normal breakdown of red blood cells. When the liver is functioning properly, bilirubin is converted into bile and eliminated from the body through the digestive system. However, when the liver is compromised due to conditions like hepatitis, cirrhosis, or liver failure, or even fatty liver, bilirubin accumulates in the blood, causing the skin, whites of the eyes, and mucous membranes to take on a yellowish hue. Here are some of the key causes of jaundice in liver failure. The most common one is hepatitis. Viral infections such as hepatitis A, B, and C can inflame the liver, impairing its ability to process bilirubin effectively. We have cirrhosis of the liver, which is chronic liver damage, often due to alcohol abuse and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that can cause scar tissue to form, which restricts the liver's function. Then we have liver cancers. Tumors or cancerous growth can obstruct the bile ducts or damage liver tissue, preventing the normal excretion of bilirubin. And lastly, the obstruction of the bile ducts. Gallstones or tumors in the bile ducts can also block the flow of bile, leading to the buildup of bilirubin in the bloodstream. Elevated levels of bilirubin can cause intense itching, which we spoke about earlier. Dark urine, excess bilirubin in the bloodstream, may be excreted through the kidneys, leading to a dark colored urine, and pale or clay-colored stools. A lack of bilirubin reaching the intestines can result in the stools that are lighter than normal. Let's move on to the warning sign number 4, confusion or cognitive impairment. Confusion or cognitive impairment is a serious and potentially life-threatening condition that arises when the liver fails to adequately filter toxins in the blood, particularly the toxin ammonia, which is a byproduct of protein digestion. When the liver is functioning normal, these toxins are processed and excreted from the body. However, in liver failure or advanced liver disease, toxins build up in the bloodstream and eventually can reach the brain, disrupting normal cognitive and neurological functions. When this happens, here are the key features and things to pay attention to. Mental confusion. Early signs often include difficulty concentrating, forgetfulness, and mild disorientation. As the condition progresses, confusion can be more pronounced, with individuals struggling to perform routine tasks or remember basic information. Then we have behavioral changes. Affected individuals may display unusual behaviors such as irritability, anxiety, or mood swings. These changes could be subtle at first, but may escalate to erratic or irrational behavior as the condition worsens. Next, we have motor function impairment. In addition to cognitive effects, this can lead to motor problems. Tremors, clumsiness, and difficulty walking with coordination are common. We also see altered sleep patterns being an issue here. One of the early signs of liver damage can be disturbances in sleep. This can manifest in insomnia, reversed sleep-wake cycles, meaning staying awake at night and feeling tired and sleepy during the day, and then also severe cognitive decline during late-stage liver damage. If this is all left untreated, this could progress to severe cases resulting in even comas. The mechanisms of action here are pretty simple. The buildup of ammonia that we spoke about, other toxins that are now not being detoxified, and also gut-derived toxins that the liver usually filters are now building up in the body. So you can see how important this liver is, not just for breaking down fat, not just for fat loss, but for preventing some serious conditions. Now, the 5th warning sign to pay attention to is swelling in the abdomen. This is a condition characterized by the accumulation of fluid in the peritoneal cavity, the space between the abdominal organs and the abdominal wall. In advanced liver disease and even cirrhosis, especially cirrhosis, this can be one of the first notable symptoms of liver failure. It is caused by a combination of increased pressure in the liver's blood vessels, which is the portal hypertension, and the liver's inability to produce sufficient proteins, particularly albumin, which helps regulate fluid balance in the body. One of the primary roles of the liver is to filter blood from the digestive organs before passing it to the rest of the body. In liver disease, particularly cirrhosis of the liver, scarring obstructs blood flow, causing pressure to build up in the portal vein, which leads to fluid leaking into the abdomen. Then you have something called hypoalbuminemia. The liver produces albumin, a protein that helps maintain oncotic pressure, which keeps fluid inside the blood vessels. In liver failure, reduced albumin production leads to decreased ability to retain fluid in the bloodstream, resulting in the fluid accumulation in the abdominal cavity. Liver disease often disrupts the balance of hormones that regulate sodium and water levels, such as aldosterone and antidiuretic hormone called ADH. This imbalance causes the kidneys to retain more sodium and water, contributing to fluid buildup in the abdomen. Now that we outlined some of the really important warning signs to pay attention to, let's discuss what we can do about it. Now, I gave some tips early on about the bitters. There are some other things you can do. One of the most important nutrients for your liver, and I get this question all the time, Ben, what are the best foods and nutrients for the liver? That's the first question here. Well, the answer is choline. Choline is a mega nutrient. Research shows one of the most important nutrients for the liver. This study titled Choline Deficiency Causes Reversible Hepatic Abnormalities in Patients Receiving Parenteral Nutrition, a proof of human choline requirement, showed that this placebo-controlled trial investigated the effects of choline deficiency on liver health in patients receiving parenteral nutrition. The study found that choline deficiency led to reversible hepatic abnormalities, including liver fat accumulation and liver dysfunction. These findings underscore the importance of adequate choline intake for maintaining liver health. Another study found that choline supplementation protects against liver damage by normalizing cholesterol metabolism. The study used a mouse model to investigate the protective effects of choline supplementation against liver damage induced by a high-fat diet. The researchers found that choline supplementation normalized cholesterol metabolism and reduced liver fat accumulation, inflammation, and oxidative stress. So where do you get the choline? The best way is from food. Liver, eggs with the yolk, beef loaded with choline. Supplementation is also a great idea. I personally take phosphatidylcholine pretty much every day from a company called Bile, and we have a 15% off code for their PC oil. I'll drop it down below. I take about 2 teaspoons every morning of phosphatidylcholine. That would be my recommendation if you go the supplementation route. So eat those foods and or take the supplement. Now, the next thing you want to do is also remove high fructose corn syrup from your diet and high fructose in general. High fructose corn syrup and fructose, as highlighted by Dr. Richard Johnson, who came on my Metabolic Freedom podcast, showed significant risk factors to liver health due to the unique metabolic pathways of fructose. Now, unlike glucose, which is processed by multiple cells in the body, fructose is primarily metabolized in the liver. About 90% of fructose is metabolized by your liver. This concentrated metabolism leads to a rapid influx in fructose, which overwhelms the liver's capacity to process it efficiently. As a result, excess fructose is converted into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. This fat can accumulate in the liver, contributing to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is increasingly prevalent in the United States and societies with high fructose corn syrup consumption. Dr. Johnson's research also points out that the metabolism of fructose leads to the production of uric acid, which can further exacerbate metabolic issues. Elevated uric acid levels are associated with increased oxidative stress and inflammation within the liver. It also leads to gout, my friends. This stress and inflammation can impair the liver's ability to function properly, leading to insulin resistance at a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes as well. Dr. Johnson has highlighted that fructose's impact on liver function extends beyond just fat accumulation and inflammation. Fructose metabolism can induce mitochondrial dysfunction in the liver, impairing the organ's energy production capabilities. The mitochondrial dysfunction is a key factor in the progression of liver diseases and contributes to the overall decline in metabolic health. So one of the worst things you can do for your liver is consume high fructose corn syrup, and even if you're consuming fruit that's concentrated in smoothies and juices, you want to avoid that and have the whole fruit in limited amounts. Alcohol is an obvious one to talk about. Every sip of alcohol is poison to your body, to your brain cells. Your liver has to deal with it. So I would go on, if you have a lot of those red flags that we spoke about, I would eliminate alcohol immediately. Get that out of your body. Your liver has to deal with it and not deal with all the amazing things it needs to take care of for the body. So get rid of the alcohol. Another question I get asked a lot on this topic is, can a damaged liver cause weight gain? Yes. As I said earlier, the liver is one of the most important not just organs in your body, but fat loss organs as well. The liver is central to metabolizing fats, breaking them down for energy use and storage. We spoke about that. It converts these dietary fats into their either triglycerides, which can be stored in fat cells, or fatty acids, which are used for immediate energy. In the process of beta oxidation, the liver breaks down fatty acids into molecules that can be used by the body for energy, especially during fasting, ketosis, and exercise. The liver helps to regulate lipolysis, which is the process of breaking down stored fats and fatty acids and glycerol. When the body needs energy, such as during exercise or fasting, the liver facilitates the breakdown of these stored fats so they can be used for fuel. Hormones like glucagon and epinephrine stimulate the liver to initiate fat breakdown, which releases fatty acids into the bloodstream for energy use. Next question I get asked is, what are some tests that I can do to assess the health or the dysfunction of my liver? That's going to be some simple blood work. GGT, ALT, AST, these are liver enzymes you want to go get checked. You could also do a liver ultrasound to really identify what's going on there. Definitely get those tests done. It's always a good idea to test and not just guess. Another question I get asked is, Ben, can you put together like a full protocol to detox, to heal, to clean my liver? And the answer is yes. I actually just released an entire video giving you a 7-day protocol, a complete protocol to detoxify and heal your liver. The liver is responsible for detoxification, fat loss, longevity, and metabolic health. And it's important to first remove the interference so your metabolism and your innate intelligence can go and heal itself. I could give you the protocol, but if you keep having these blockages and interferences, the protocol is only going to work so much.